All right, let's jump right into this explainer and look at a mind-bending phenomenon where particles pull off the impossible and simply pass straight through solid barriers. I know, it completely sounds like science fiction, right? But this isn't just some quirky math trick. It's actually a fundamental, inescapable aspect of our reality. Picture this. You chuck a tennis ball as hard as you can at a solid brick wall. What happens? Well, obviously it bounces right back. That's classical physics in a nutshell. But if you were to toss a tiny electron at a microscopic wall, sometimes it can just appear on the exact opposite side. There are no secret cracks it slipped through, no tiny holes. It literally just tunnels. So here's our roadmap for the day. We're going to start with the classical impossibility, move on to the wave function leak, see how this powers the sun, look at the tunneling happening right in your pocket, and finish up with how we use this to actually see individual atoms. All right, part 1, the classical impossibility, or what we can just call the bounce. Let's ground ourselves first in the rigid, everyday rules of classical physics. Think about a physical barrier as a really steep hill. Classically speaking, if you roll a ball up that hill, it absolutely must have enough initial energy to make it all the way to the top. If it lacks that energy, it just stops halfway and rolls right back down to you. A particle without enough energy simply cannot cross a potential energy barrier. It completely reflects. That is the unbreakable rule of the world we can actually see and touch. Moving on to part 2, the wave function leak, and how we completely break that unbreakable rule. Because down in the quantum realm, things get wonderfully fuzzy. Instead of treating a particle like a hard, solid little sphere, quantum mechanics treats it as a wave function. Basically, this describes the wave nature of matter. You can think of it as a fuzzy cloud that represents the overall probability of finding the particle in any given region of space. And there's a really great way to visualize what physicists call exponential decay without getting bogged down in any of the heavy math. Just think of it like a sound wave. If you're standing in a room with super thin walls and a sound wave hits that wall, the sound doesn't just instantly drop to zero, right? You can still hear a muffled version of it on the other side. Well, a quantum particle's wave function acts in a very similar way when it hits a potential barrier. So, how exactly does this leak operate? The wave function approaches the so-called forbidden barrier and enters it. Once inside, the wave's amplitude drops sharply. That's the exponential decay. But, and here's where the magic happens, if the barrier is thin enough, the wave doesn't die down to exactly zero before reaching the other side. That little bit of leftover wave that pops out, that represents a real, finite probability that the particle is now on the other side. The particle didn't dig a hole, it didn't jump over the wall, it just genuinely exists for a split second in a region where classical physics says it absolutely shouldn't, and then boom, it appears on the other side. Which brings us to part 3, powering the sun through cosmic tunneling. What's really incredible about this theoretical wave leak is that it isn't just a thought experiment, it's literally the reason we're alive today. We all know we rely on the sun fusing hydrogen into helium for light and heat. But protons are positively charged, right? So they act like two positive magnets and strongly repel each other. Pushing them together requires overcoming a massive electric repulsion barrier. Classically, the core of the sun actually is not hot enough to give these protons the energy they need to smash through that barrier. But thankfully, quantum tunneling gives their fuzzy wave functions a tiny, tiny probability to leak through that repulsion, allowing them to get just close enough for the strong nuclear force to grab hold and bind them together into deuterium. I really want you to let this sink in for a second. Without tunneling, the sun would not shine. Life would not exist. Now, the probability of any two specific protons actually tunneling is astronomically small. But because the sun is just so unimaginably massive and contains an unfathomable number of protons, enough of them successfully tunnel every single second to generate the immense, roaring energy that sustains our entire planet. All right, part 4, tunneling in your pocket, specifically flash memory. Let's pull this grand cosmic concept down to Earth and see how you use this exact same physics in the palm of your hand every single day. Have you ever wondered how your smartphone remembers all your photos and texts, even when the battery is completely dead? It uses something called Fowler-Nordheim tunneling. Engineers designed modern flash memory with an isolated conductor, called a floating gate, perfectly surrounded by an insulating layer. By applying a very specific voltage, we can actually change the shape of that insulating barrier, making it thin enough for electrons to physically tunnel right through it and get trapped inside. And the crazy part? When you remove that voltage, the barrier thickens back up, and those electrons stay locked in there for years. That trapped state, that's literally your data. Everything from smartphones to USB drives to the solid-state drives in our laptops relies on this exact process. Without this specific quantum effect, modern flash memory would be physically impossible. We'd honestly all still be stuck waiting around for massive, clunky, spinning hard drives just to load a single file. And finally, Part 5, seeing individual atoms on the microscopic level. Let's look at how scientists use this phenomenon to actually see the invisible building blocks of our universe. Just one. That is the exact number of atoms resting at the very tip of the metallic needle in a scanning tunneling microscope, or an STM. It's an absolutely incredible piece of tech invented back in 1981 by Gerd Binnig and Heinrich Rauer, which, by the way, rightfully earned them a Nobel Prize. So how do we map out the microscopic world with this? Scientists take that needle, again, with just a single atom at its tip, and hover it just a few nanometers above a conductive surface. They apply a voltage, and electrons begin to tunnel directly across the empty space, literally across the gap between the tip and the surface. Now, because we know that the tunneling current changes exponentially with even the tiniest microscopic shift in distance, scientists can drag this needle over the surface, measure those exact changes in current, and literally map out individual atoms one by one. This was a total game changer. Scientists were finally able to physically image the wave functions of electrons. Okay, let's wrap this up. The quantum reality. Taking a step back, what does this all mean for our understanding of reality? Well, quantum tunneling is operating across literally all scales of existence. On the macro scale, it lets protons fuse and power the sun. On the everyday scale, it allows electrons to tunnel through insulators to store our digital lives in flash memory. And down on the nanoscale, it allows us to map out the very atoms that make up our materials using the STM. So far from being just some weird, rare math glitch, quantum tunneling is a fundamental, inescapable consequence of matter acting like a wave. But hey, we have only just scratched the surface of how wave-like behavior completely changes the universe. We're going to continue unpacking these mysteries in our next explainer, where we'll tackle the quantum harmonic oscillator. We'll discover exactly why every system near equilibrium acts like a universal spring, and why quantized energy levels are absolutely everywhere. It's definitely going to be a fascinating next step on this journey, but until then, I'll leave you with this question to ponder. What other everyday technology do you think uses quantum tunneling behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts on this down below. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I will catch you in the next explainer.